Ever feel like every time your kid tries something new, they're terrified of messing up?
Oh, absolutely. It's like they think one wrong step and it's all over.
Right. And as a parent, you just want to say, hey, it's okay to make mistakes. But how do you actually teach that? Like, how do you help them overcome that fear of failure?
Well, that's what we're diving into today. We're looking at some really practical tips for parents on exactly that.
Get this. It's not about pretending failure doesn't exist.
Exactly. In fact, the source we're looking at today puts growth mindset front and center.
Okay, so growth mindset, that's a buzzword we hear a lot these days, but what's the real world application for parents? Like, how does that actually help when my kid's freaking out about a test or, striking out at bat?
So imagine this. You're essentially teaching your child that failure isn't a stop sign. It's like a detour or maybe even just a curve in the road.
I like that.
Yeah, so growth mindset helps kids see those so-called failures as just part of the journey. It's not a judgment of their worth, right?
It's not, I'm a failure, it's, I'm learning.
Exactly. It's I'm
Uh,
learning, and this is a step in the process.
So it's kind of like when I was learning to ride a bike, right? All those times I fell, those weren't failures, they were just like information. Each time I fell, I learned something about balance or steering or whatever, and eventually I got it.
Precisely. And that ties into the source's next point so well, which is all about celebrating effort over outcomes. So instead of just focusing on, wow, you got an A, you might say something like, you were so focused working on that project, I'm really proud of your effort.
Oh, that's huge. I remember being terrified of spelling tests as a kid, and my grandma, God bless her, she'd never focus on the words I missed. She'd be like, you practice so hard, and you're learning something new every time.
There you go.
It meant the world to me.
And that right there, that's the magic. Because you're reinforcing that the process of trying, that effort, that's valuable even without immediate success.
Totally. So it's not just about what they achieve, it's how they approach the challenge. I love that.
Absolutely. And this source also highlights something else that can be incredibly powerful, and that's vulnerability. Sharing your own stories of setbacks, of times you didn't succeed.
Oh, you mean like letting them know that even adults don't have it all figured out?
Exactly. Because we don't, nobody does. I remember this presentation I completely bombed in college. I mean, it was a disaster.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, it was bad. But, sharing that story with my own kids, it really helped them see that everyone stumbles, everyone makes mistakes, and it doesn't define you.
oh, I have a good one.
Hmm.
I once tried to bake a birthday cake for my son's birthday, and well, let's just say it ended up flatter than a pancake. I have no idea what happened.
It's
Anyway, my kids still tease me about it to this day,
uh,
but it was a good lesson for them, right? It taught them that even grown-ups make hilarious mistakes, and that's okay.
Exactly. Which leads us to another important point the source makes, and that's setting realistic expectations. If you expect a 5-year-old to clean their room like a Marine Corps recruit, you're setting everyone up for disappointment.
Oh my gosh, yes. This is me 100%. I used to get so frustrated when my son would help with the laundry, and by help I mean turn everything pink with one stray red sock.
Been there.
Right. But then I realized he's learning, he's experimenting, and at this stage, that's what matters.
That's it. It's about progress, not perfection, right?
Yes.
And throughout all of this, remember the power of your unwavering support. That's so crucial. Think of yourself as that steady hand on their back as they're learning to ride that bike. You're there to guide them, encourage them, and pick them up when they fall.
It's not about saying don't be scared,
Mhm.
because let's face it, those feelings are normal.
Totally normal.
It's about giving them the tools and the support to navigate those feelings, to work through those tough moments, and ultimately to come out stronger on the other side.
Resilience.
Yes, that's the word.
That's what it's all about.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, we're left with this really powerful question for you. What's one small step you can take today to help your child embrace the learning process, bumps and all?
I love that.
Maybe it's swapping out good job for, I love how hard you worked on that. Or maybe it's sharing a story of a time you turned a mistake into a learning experience. Just one small shift can make a world of difference.
Absolutely.
Because remember, it's not about avoiding failure. It's about teaching our kids to navigate it, learn from it, and ultimately grow from it.
Couldn't have said it better myself.